Hello and welcome to Queendom TV. Today, guys, I'm going to be giving you a few little updates about what's going on with Jesy, plus discussing one of the theories that you guys had that you mentioned on Twitter. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, in my Jesy Nelson videos, I was giving you guys a bit of an update. I told you that I was giving you an update on what's going to be coming next as far as what we're doing, what I'm going to be doing to help push what we got going on. Today, I'm giving you guys a bit of an update on what's going on with Jesy. I figured it was a good idea to discuss this, to kind of talk about what could be coming next. So I figured we should address that now, especially as a lot of us are expecting that things are going to be happening kind of March, April time. So I figured it was good to make this video while we're still in February. Also, I did mention how my uploading schedule is going to change. I'm going to be doing less videos to focus on other stuff. If you want to hear all the updates, check out my previous video. As always, I will have all the videos in the Jesy Nelson playlist. And if you watch them in order, it kind of makes sense how everything's all happened and it's all developing. As I've said before, the best place if you want to contact me directly at the moment, as far as stuff to do with Jesy, is probably on Twitter, just because it's one place where that's pretty much all I'm mainly doing there at the moment, and it's easier for me to like see what you guys are sending and stuff. So Twitter has been a little bit easier, but I will still be getting back to everybody, guys. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. Even if your message has been there for however many days, guys, I'm going to respond, because I appreciate so much you all taking the time to actually message me, whatever it is that you've said, whether it's your support, which I appreciate so much, whether it's information, your opinion, videos, pictures, everything. I want to, by my own choice, take the time to look through that stuff, and that's also why I'm going to be reducing my videos. So today, I have to do a special shout out to @Jessy'sHeaven on Instagram, who has been so helpful since the very beginning, just, letting me know what's going on, kind of taking me in and explaining to me and involving me in different things. So thank you so much. I wanted to just give you a special shout out in this video, and making yourself available to whenever I have any questions and giving me so much help. And you are the one who I came to today to like double check a few bits and bobs for the video today. So special shout out to @Jessy'sHeaven. Definitely go and subscribe. Go and follow on Instagram, guys. If you guys haven't, you can go and follow. But what I'm going to say today is a little bit of some things that have been happening and what it might be suggesting. So first things first before I even get into that, I want to say that congratulations to everybody that heard from Jesy, because I have heard from more than one of you guys that she came out sending you guys messages, talking to people, shouting out to the fans. And I think that's amazing. And I wanted to highlight this specifically because, I personally feel, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot on the channel in general. I didn't mention this in my previous video, which doesn't make sense, but I'm going to mention it now. One of the reasons why I'm reducing my Jesy videos is because there's certain other topics that I want to speak about that include Jesy, but are not necessarily specifically only just about Jesy. So some of the other videos are going to include stuff about Jesy. So for example, I've got a video coming up talking about, the X Factor audition contract, which, guys, look forward to that video, by the way, because it's crazy. And I did say to you guys that if you're going to hear about the contracts, then let me know. So I'm making videos about that. So videos like that, they're not necessarily specific to just Jesy, but they're a part of this journey as well. So just know that just because a video isn't just Jesy, some of them are to do with this subject area, but I wanted to make sure that I covered all of it, because I'm starting to point out, the industry as well, the issues in the industry. And one of the issues that I've realized is, one of the trends I've realized is a difference between certain artists who seem to be more concerned with like just being pop stars, and then there's other ones who really care about like their artwork and like talking to their fans and all that kind of stuff. So I'm highlighting the fact that the reason to me that Jesy is shouting out to you guys is because she's one of those genuine, in my opinion, genuine people in the industry who wants to speak to her fans, who wants to make music that means something to her. It's not just about being famous. It's not just about, getting money or whatever, or clout, or whatever you want to call it. It's more about her doing what she loves and connecting with the people she loves. And that's why I think her, more than anything, more than a lot of people, is actually making the effort to do this stuff, because she's busy. Sis is busy at the moment. She's all in LA, she's all in London, she's doing this, she's doing that. For her to take time out to do that in her busy life, just know that it means you guys mean a lot to her. You must mean a lot to her. Speaking as somebody who myself gets quite busy, you know, I think we have to acknowledge the fact that when somebody takes the time to do something, even if that's 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes of their life that they chose you, are valuable enough to give to you, you know. So just know that she must really genuinely care. And I hope that for any of you who've been really finding it hard to deal with all the hate and stuff online, hopefully you guys can look at that as well as a bit of an encouragement to help you to just understand that although the haters might be saying this and that, right, you're the one who's hearing from Jesy, mate. So which side of the deal are you better off? The one being the hateful one, or the one who's getting to hear lovely messages from the person you support? You know what I mean? So yeah, just wanted to touch on that, say congratulations to everyone. And just, you know, just from my perspective, it really touched my heart when I heard that she'd been reaching out to people, that, you know, she cared enough to do that, especially in this time where she's so busy. So on to that. So she's been in LA a lot of the time recording with Taylor Parks, which is funny to me because when I saw Taylor Parks, she was black as well. So I was like, well, at least a woman of color. So I was like, well, here we go. She clearly doesn't have an issue with the blackfishing, but, you know, and also Sinead Harnett. So just to say that I'm very interested to see what music that Jesy's got coming on. I feel like Jesy's music, honestly, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I don't know why. And this is just my theory, guys. You know, we're all friends here. We can share. We can share our thoughts that are not, you know, or our theories. I really feel like whatever she's about to drop, like, it's going to, like, I feel like it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. But I also think that it's going to ruffle people's feathers. And I think it's going to ruffle people's feathers because a lot of people have attached her to, you know, this particular image. I know for a lot of you guys, you really vibe with her actual vibe. And I speak about a vibe because somebody's vibe is different from somebody's image or brand, because like a brand is something that you get sold and they do it in a specific way so that you're looking at things from a particular perspective, and so you're expecting a particular product. It's like having a genre of music, for example. When you hear a particular genre, you expect to hear something specific. Whereas to me, if you've caught somebody's vibe, you're catching somebody's vibe, which means you just like what that person does. Like whatever that person is doing, you just caught their vibe and you're just in there, in that energy space, like with them kind of thing. So I feel like a lot of you guys, like whatever she does, you're probably going to enjoy it. And I kind of feel like that about myself as well, because I feel like I like her vibe, the vibe that I get from her in general, and more so when she's doing things by herself, when she's doing her thing. I really, really like her vibe. So I think a lot of us are going to like it, but I do think it's going to ruffle some feathers, guys. I really do. I really do. I think it's going to be hard for people to... some people are going to just be jealous. A lot of it's going to be jealousy, I believe. And this is not me hoping, by the way. In fact, I'm praying against the very opposite. I'm praying everybody could just be supportive in the name of Jesus, right? But I don't know what's to come, but I feel like it's going to be really good. She's been working with will.i.am as well. will.i.am's one of the greatest, I think, out there in terms of like musicians, producers, songwriters. So if she's working with will.i.am, I think that's going to be really, really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be about. There have been a few different strange things that have happened amongst people who are closer to her. So, for example, her producers and her ex-boyfriend, who was also her ex-best friend and a director on the BOYZ video shoot, who she's no longer following. Excuse me. And he's also no longer following her. That's, what's his name here? Did I not put his name down? I think it's Harry James, if I'm not mistaken. I'm so sorry, by the way, that I should have written the name down. This is what I'm like, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's perfect. This is why I say no one's perfect, guys. You know, anyway. So, yeah, that's interesting. The thing that stuck out to me about that I found interesting, that I wanted to talk about, is the fact that it's interesting how many times is she going to say interesting? How he directed BOYZ. Because the thing is, guys, here's what I feel like, right? I feel like, this is, again, my theory, you know? I'm very clear about different videos when I'm discussing actual facts and things that have happened, or versus just my theory. But my theory is that she was in Little Mix, right? She came out and she made the song BOYZ. And during that time, she was like in the first phase of her like transition period, right? Of like getting out from what people thought of her before. This is the first work that's actually her. And now she's moving into like what we're going to see now is going to be like really really her, which I think BOYZ was as well. But I feel like it was just more of the like intro, still in the like, transition phase. So I feel like the reason why this could have even happened, that they could have unfollowed each other, is I feel like there could be some feathers being ruffled on her end in terms of her now doing things the way that she wants to, and just fully breaking away from all the connections of before. When I say connections, I'm not talking about people, but I'm talking about maybe things, the ways that things were done. Because let's not forget that when you as you guys also pointed out, that she no longer follows some of her producers. More than a few of you guys actually pointed that out, although they still follow her. Not to say that I know why that's happening. Again, I'm just throwing theories out there based on my understanding of the industry, in case that's helpful for you guys. Also, just to maybe prepare us for what's to come, etc. I feel like sometimes, people, it's nothing necessarily personal, but it might just not be where she wants to go now. Because let's not forget that where she was to where she's going, it's very, very different. Like a lot of people who break out and go solo, I feel like their journey to being solo is it's a lot more like in the same kind of field of where they were. For her, I feel like she's going solo. Like, for example, if you think of Beyonce and Destiny's Child, right? Beyonce broke away from Destiny's Child, or that whenever they all split, but then Beyonce continued on in like the same kind of genre of music. So even the people that she was working with probably, were still on the same vibe. Whereas with Jesy, what could be happening, and I say could, is that because she is probably changing quite drastically, and she has, BOYZ was a big change from what we'd seen before. I remember the first time I listened to BOYZ, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And I was happy because it was something new, and it kind of sparked something else, like for me with Jesy in my mind. I was like, oh wow, okay, I like this. I like where she's going with this. I'm feeling it. I think that it's kind of going to be quite different. So it could just be that she's unfollowing people based on it could also be the types of things that she does and doesn't want to see, by the way, guys, just as a side note. Because let's not forget, I have been seeing that even, like her producers, Patrick and Sunny, or maybe now ex-producers and stuff, they get hate and stuff as well. So maybe some of that could be, in protection. Some of it could also just be things that we don't know behind the scenes, because we never know how much people are involved in certain things, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but we will be talking about, some of the things that could really be going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. That type of stuff could be coming up as well, guys, on my channel. So look out for that, or also other things. But I'm just thinking that, even with the BOYZ video, let's actually go there. Let's go there, because this actually kind of perfectly helps what I'm going to say. So one of you guys on Instagram came up with a theory. Oh my gosh. Right, I'm going to find your Instagram because I wrote it down. I was like, I refuse to not have it written down when it comes to the moment I'm going to shout this out in the video. Hold on a second. But pretty much you had a theory that Jesy's version of BOYZ was like a kind of a continuation on of like theme, like the sequel to the original video, but the original video done by what's his name again? Diddy. Imagine I forgot Diddy's name. So pretty much what you were saying, and I get it, because for those of you who haven't watched them, I definitely recommend you do that, because I did that after you mentioned this. Oh my goodness, where are we going with this? Just give me a moment, guys. Anyways, I will just be faffing around while I'm talking. But anyway, you kind of mentioned that Jesy, yeah. So in the first video, I'll just give you guys a little, and there's a reason why I'm explaining all of this, because when you said this, it kind of clicked with the theory I was already having in my own head about this whole thing. But pretty much, in the first video for Bad Boys, or whatever the name is of the Diddy original song, he arrives in like this big bus in this particular area that's very nice looking, very like probably quite well off people live there, etc, etc. And then it was at Jesy _ the goddess. Is that right? Yes, I believe at Jesy _ the goddess. So that was who shouted out this theory. So check it out on Twitter. She kind of talked about it there. So what was I going to say now? Yeah, so on the first video, yeah, he comes in and he's got all his people. This is Diddy now, and they kind of take over, and the people who are there aren't really happy that he's moving in. And like from my perspective as a black person, as well, I'll say it's kind of the classic, especially from when the song originally came out, because I believe she released her song came out like 20 years after. So a lot has changed, which I think was also part of why I totally agree with this theory about BOYZ now by Jesy being a sequel, because then, it was kind of all these people, a lot of them were like black coming into this community where there was a lot of more white people, and like kind of just like, ruffling a bit of feathers in that area, like, hi, we're here, like whatever. And they weren't really happy that they were there, kind of thing. And so that was like the original way, but then they all moved in because they bought it. And obviously Diddy had that vibe of like, you can't stop me because like I've got here now, like I've got the money, I've got the right to live here, I've got the right to be here, I'm bringing my people, this is my thing. That's kind of the vibe I got from that song. And then I feel like with Jesy, so like it's like when you get to Jesy's video of BOYZ, he's already living there. So I totally agree that this is like the sequel. So now she's coming in as his neighbor, but she's coming with her own new thing. And then that's why even I like how she did the whole, and one of you guys sent a video as well where she was talking about how she was discussing with how she explained how the video concept came together and what Diddy said, and that she was actually the one who was kind of saying it would be funny for him to say something like, aren't you, like, who are you like Little Mix, whatever kind of thing, as if to suggest like, what are you doing here, like this isn't your normal vibe kind of thing. And that's my perception of how she was explaining it. So I think she was kind of doing a similar thing to him, and I felt that like when I first watched that video, when I first watched BOYZ, I was like, this to me is like her like, no, I don't want to say initiation, but almost like her like ceremony into like her breaking into her own thing, doing her own vibe. Like that's what I got, especially with that whole thing, that whole dialogue between her and Diddy, and him saying whatever he's saying, and the golf balls is too much, and like her just having a crazy time or whatever. I really felt like that was like her being, you know, kind of welcomed and like officially like presented like, hello, you are now a part of this new phase of your life, you're now moving in here. And also the same kind of vibe of like her earning her rights to be there as well, in the sense that she is there because she is talented. You know, this is me like looking at it in a, like a metaphorical sense, kind of, that like, you know, she is talented, she has worked hard, she does deserve to be in that room and in that place. She does deserve, you know, to be, you know, doing what she's doing because she's worked for it, like, you know, to be collaborating with the likes of Nicki Minaj, etc. So I really like that theory because I think that's true, and I think it just goes to show what's happening. And I actually think that because that's what was happening, and because deep down a lot of people could see that, that's why it was actually ruffling so many feathers, because people are like, what the heck, man, how come she's allowed to come in here or doing all of this? Now she thinks she's, because that's a big level up. There's one thing, if we're going to be honest, guys, if we're all going to be honest, and those of us who are, you know, supportive of her and stuff, and supportive of people who are just doing their thing and not bothering anybody, right, massively, then I think we have to acknowledge that, you know, it does bother people to see people doing well. Like if Jesy had just come out with a song and it was just like her own song and it was called something like Breaking Away or like Finding Myself, if her first song coming out had been called like Finding Myself, and it was like a slower piece where she was talking about having to deal with her mental health issues and finally finding her footing again and there would have been none of this scandal. There would have been no scandal. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying I'm God to know exactly what would have happened in the future, because I don't know what would have happened, right, officially, technically. But I feel like people would have had nothing to say because it went along with the narrative that they all expected of like, oh, she's going to go away. Many people thought she wasn't going to do music again, which is really where the issue started, as you guys will know. If you don't know, check out my previous videos where I've kind of gone on, explained how this all kicked off and this is where the switch took place. We all know that the switch kind of took place as soon as people started to see the hints that, oh, she might not just be doing her own thing anymore. She might not just be like looking after herself and like whatever people termed that to be. I think people expected her to just be on her own, dealing with herself and never hearing from her again. Like, I don't know what people expected, but anyway. So I think when people heard that there were things going on that already caused issues in general, because people are like, wait, we thought you needed time to yourself, which again, guys, and I'll tell you something as well. This is a little interesting little hint tip that I've realized, by the way, about mental health issues. This little, not advice, because I don't give advice, but food for thought. I've experienced this, and this is real, I'm going to tell you. Sometimes when you're feeling in a particular way, right, and you're having particular mental health issues, you'll find that as soon as you remove certain people out of your life, they will go away. Like, or at least they'll reduce a significant amount. I've noticed that even myself, that like there's certain people where as soon as I remove certain people out of my life, I'm like, wait a minute, why do I feel so much better than I was feeling before all of a sudden? So just a little food for thought for you guys as well. Sometimes the things that are causing, that are worsening maybe your mental health issues, sometimes it can be people, you know. Take a step back to realize, you know, that's why I like to spend time alone, because when you spend time by yourself, which I think also happened with Jesy, she talked about that in her lockdown, and how with lockdown and everything, being away from everybody, having to spend time with her family, it brought her back to the place that she almost forgot existed in her life, right? So then when she steps back into a place that's not feeling like that place that she now remembers, it's highlighting to her, oh, this is the problem. Because when I was here and I was with my family, I was feeling so much better. So just a little food for thought for you guys as well, with if you're struggling with stuff like that. Consider who you're spending time around. Maybe take some time to spend some time by yourself and get yourself to a place of peace. And when you get to there and then you see what happens when you're around certain people, or pay attention if there's like a certain person that always, every time you're around them, you're like, you leave feeling upset, you leave feeling stressed, you feeling with your self-esteem being less. Somebody said to me, once that, people in your life, you should evaluate them whether they add value or not. Like, are they adding value? Now, value can be added in different ways. It could be somebody that's just really positive to be around, could be adding value. Giving you good advice could be adding value. Supporting things you do could be adding value. Being a great listener could be adding value. Maybe making you good food could be adding value. Whatever it is, definitely evaluate that, because I think that's something that's not spoken about enough. And I definitely have seen in other people's relationships and stuff how being around certain people is unhelpful. And they're the ones who are making how you're feeling worse, and removing them actually makes a difference. So anyways, why was I even talking about this? I went all the way off the subject. I was talking about Diddy, BOYZ. So I feel like Jesy now, so if Jesy had done a video, thank you, Lord. If Jesy had done a video about finding myself in that song, people would have been okay. But I feel like the fact that now it's like she's leveled up, it's like, how have you gone from all these years of mental health issues, trying to unalive yourself, to now you're releasing a song like BOYZ? Like, BOYZ, it's like upbeat, it's like attitudey, she's got her confidence back. It's like, how do you jump between that? And I think that little jump between that is what's really offending a lot of people. And so that's why I'm saying that, that I love how she's done this. And it just goes to show you that, that when you do what's right for you and you look after yourself, which I keep telling you guys to do as well, then she got her confidence back and everything. And I think that is what's also offending people, because like, why are you so happy now? And I definitely think that some of even maybe the previous members are feeling like that, or other people are like, well, why is she feeling so good now? Like, why is she doing so well? I thought you were having mental health issues. Because this is what people are like. This is the world we live in. As much as people want to be supportive of mental health issues, at the same time, you'll be the same person where when you're doing better, like, let's say you've made a change in your life and you're doing better, they're like, well, how are you doing so much better now? I thought you were going through this, I thought you were going through that. And it's like, yes, they were, but now they're not, because they managed to find what was the issue here, find what was causing the problems or was adding to the problems, and they removed it, or they dealt with it. That's what we should want. Like, to me, I don't understand the issue. Surely we should want her. To me, that's what I would want. I would want her to step away from there, take time, and as soon as she feels ready, as long as she's sure that she's ready, go ahead, sis, do your thing. That's exactly why what's the purpose of looking after yourself? And that's why I think it's healthy to always take a little step back if you need to, because a lot of the times when you're going through stuff, a little step back can go a long way. Jesy didn't disappear for long before she came back, and she was, starting to do stuff, and now she's working. We're seeing her smiling, and of course we don't see everything. So I'm not saying that she's perfect. I don't know. I would have to ask her personally to know exactly how she's feeling. But so I think that's why a lot of people was so upset by the BOYZ thing. But and I also think that, to me, confirms why I believe that theory by at Jesy _ the goddess said about how you feel like this is a sequel. I think that's a great theory. Also, guys, feel free to throw out any theories you have, because for those of you people who've been on my channel, they know that I love a theory. I love sorry, I was just making sure I said the Twitter handle correctly. I love a theory. I'm always throwing out my theories on YouTube. So feel free to throw your Jesy theories and we can discuss them. I can discuss them in a video, and everybody can discuss them in the comment sections. Feel free, because a lot of the things that we don't know, and I talked about this more in the contract videos, so definitely check out the contract videos that I've got. I've got a playlist about it. And you guys can see how contracts specifically can make it difficult for somebody to talk about what's going on. So sometimes I think for people, those of us who have seen things and get little hunches and theories, I feel like our intuition really, I feel like God's the one who gives us our intuition. That's why in certain scenarios, you just get a bad vibe from somebody and it turns out your bad vibe is true. Or you just feel like, today I feel like I shouldn't do this, and you don't do it. And you realize, thank God I didn't do that. I could have, something bad could have happened. I feel like sometimes our theories, in my opinion, is also God's way of telling us something and hinting, like trying to reveal something to us that's like hidden, so that's why I like to explore theories on my channel. not just because I'm just like talking for nothing, but because maybe it's my intuition, maybe it's God telling me something or highlighting something to me that's like, oh, is there something to be seen in there? And the reason why I mentioned that is because a lot of these contracts that these people have to sign mean that they can't speak up. One of the things that's in the X Factor contracts and I also did America's Got Talent contracts video is going to be coming up. They're both going to be coming up, so look out for them. Subscribe, guys, so you know when the videos come up. Is they've got these parts in it where it talks about how you're not allowed to speak about, you know, the program, what happens at the program, the people at the program, this and this and this and this. And I explain it all in those videos, guys. So, and that those agreements are like never ending. So even like after it's all happened, you're still not allowed to speak about certain things. And that's just like something you're agreeing to just by auditioning, not even necessarily by after you've been selected, you know. So definitely check out those contract videos if that's something you're interested in. I don't want to overwhelm this video with that. But yeah, so I feel like what we've seen from Jesy this far is just the beginning. I think what we saw with her and Diddy in the BOYZ video, and the fact that Nicki was on it. Let's not forget that Nicki Minaj was kind of off the grid for a while. So let's not underplay the fact that for Nicki to come out of her way to actually be so supportive of Jesy when she herself is kind of reintroducing herself is a pretty big statement, like on Nicki's part as well. So for Nicki to do that, that says a lot about how Nicki must feel about the situation as well, and that she would do that with Jesy. So I really feel like it definitely seems like the start of something new for Jesy, a continuation of what happened with Diddy and Jesy kind of catching on that same vibe of, I'm coming into a place, maybe some people not happy where I'm at right now, kind of like with Diddy in the first video, but I'm here now and I've earned my right to be here and ain't nobody gonna stop me, you know. And then obviously her talking about bad boys or whatever, which again, some people I feel like just took the video way too seriously, in my opinion. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. What was the other things that I wanted to mention? Sorry guys, I've got so many bits of paperwork here now because I've been planning so much stuff. So I'm like, where's my paper? You would think that one would be more organized. But yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, so there's lots of different things that are going on. Apparently she's also been in London, coming back to London as well. So I'm interested to see as well if she's going to do any like interviews and stuff, if she's going to be coming out and like talking to people, because obviously she's had to she's been quite quiet, which I think is smart on her part. I think she knows exactly what she's doing, in the sense that a lot of people don't necessarily have her best interest at heart. And that's why, again, I think it's helpful and it's good that we're making I'm making these videos, just also so that, you know, even if she was to ever see anything, she could know that there are people who are not just going along with what everybody else thinks, but are actually supporting like her and what she's doing, and, you know, believe in what she's doing and stuff like that as well. Because I think there's a lot of people who are just out here trying to be, you know, negative. And if I were her, I would be skeptical about doing like appearances and doing interviews and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so that's kind of where we're at now. It's looking like Jesy's going to be having some music coming up very, very soon. Probably maybe even in the next couple of months. So when that stuff does happen, guys, what I would say, gear yourself up. Don't let anybody tear you down. Let's just focus on the positive. My goal with Jesy's music when it comes out and stuff is I'm going to be just focusing on the positive, you know, sharing positive things about it. Because one thing is, the more positive things we share, the more we can outweigh the negative, you know. And I think as well, one thing that makes me laugh about even the toxic mixers who are out there is the fact that they're spending all their energy talking against Jesy, right? So since they're going to be putting her name out there and getting her name pushed through algorithms and getting her trending and everything, which has been happening apparently, which is crazy, by the way, then let's utilize that for good. Let's utilize that for positivity. Let's share good things, you know, so that we can kind of, rather than using all that attention to increase the negativity, use it to increase the positivity that's out there towards everything that she's doing. Because I think that's going to be really helpful and really good. And I for sure am going to be making content like when her stuff comes out, like maybe reacting to the videos and just talking about good stuff, because I also want to highlight the positives of what's going on out there. And also just the fact that I really appreciate her as an artist, as somebody who clearly cares about the work that she does, and making art that she cares about, not just necessarily, you know, being a pop star. But anyways, I'm probably going to speak about that in a separate video. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Check out all the videos in the Jesy Nelson playlist if you haven't caught up with those videos. All my links are in the description box. I've got the first section under my Jesy videos are all the links for the Jesy related stuff. You guys can send me in emails. I've still got the petition for the young man, unfortunately, who took his life as a result of the horrendous, horrific, disgusting, despicable individuals who chose to speak, or rather the individuals who behaved in those manners, who decided to be so hateful online that caused him to, you know, take his own life. So let's continue to send support for that as well. If you want to reach out to me, probably the best at the moment is on Twitter, although I will be responding to people now, especially as I'm reducing my video schedule and stuff like that. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much for your continued support. I love you all so much. I'm vibing with y'all so much. I'm loving it around here. I'm praying the best for all of you. I do pray for you guys as well. Just want you guys to know that. I know not necessarily everybody's like cares, believes in what I believe in, but I do. So hey, that's how I show my love to people. One of the ways I show love to people is by praying for them, because I believe that prayer works. So I pray for you all. I'm grateful for you all. Don't let the haters get to you. Keep supporting each other. Keep shining. Keep being amazing. And yeah, other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye.